Sure, I'll bite. Why does Guinness have a reputation like no other beer? It starts with the rich, dark color and the creamy head that cascades like a mini science experiment every time you pour it. That's nitrogen magic right there, making it smoother than most beers. And yes, science is sexy in beer. But it's not just aesthetics, there's substance too. Guinness is surprisingly low in calories compared to the average pint of beer. A 12-ounce pour of Guinness Draught has about 125 calories. That's less than a glass of orange juice. Beer that feels indulgent but isn't? Sign me up. Then there's the iron. People love to talk about how Guinness is a good source of iron. While it's not enough to cancel your multivitamin, the trace amounts 0.3 milligrams per pint do add to its wholesome image. And hey, iron helps transport oxygen in the blood, so cheers to science again. One of my favorite things? It's rich in antioxidants. Like berries, tea, and wine, Guinness contains those little good-for-you molecules that fight free radicals. So, drinking a pint is like giving your body a tiny thank you note from yourself. Self-care, but make it delicious. There's also the beer's cultural depth. Ever heard the phrase, Guinness is good for you? That was literally an old marketing slogan, and many still believe it. While no one's saying to drink it like a health smoothie, there's a comfort in its deep-rooted history. And let's acknowledge the smoothness. Guinness doesn't leave you bloated like a lot of lagers might. You can easily have a pint without feeling like you just consumed a loaf of bread. It's a relief for those who love beer but hate the aftermath. For athletes, yes, athletes, Guinness has been touted as a recovery drink. In Ireland's past, rugby players were often spotted drinking a pint for its mix of carbs and nutrients after a game. Is it Gatorade? No, but it makes a solid argument. Fun fact, Guinness has fewer bubbles compared to other beers because of the nitrogen. It's why it feels almost velvety, not fizzy. This little detail makes it vastly different from your usual beer escapades. It's an experience as much as a drink. And don't even get me started on the worldwide appeal. Guinness is sold in over 150 countries, and each region treats it almost as a sacred art. Ever tried it in Dublin versus New York? It's like listening to your favorite song at a live concert versus earbuds. There's also something about the Guinness ritual that locks you in. The perfect pint pour? It takes 119.5 seconds to settle, and yes, good things are absolutely worth waiting for. Watching the head form is a hypnotic moment, almost like the beer's way of shaking hands with you. I've heard the complaint that it's too heavy so many times, but it's misleading. It looks heavier than it tastes. Guinness is more like a hearty ale, not a meal-in-a-glass stout. It surprises people with how light on the palate it really is. Ultimately, Guinness is more than a drink. It's history, science, and social glue in a pint glass. Whether you're sitting in your local bar or across the world in a completely different time zone, Guinness is a global unifier. Who knew beer could have that kind of charm?